Testing 1, 2, 3. Def look great. How are you? We are live. Hey, Kevin's there. Awesome. Welcome aboard. Unconformable Coatings. Welcome aboard. Titus, welcome. Wes is here. Welcome aboard. Thank you. Excellent. Load and clear. Well, for the most part. You guys are awesome. It's a great Sunday. Almost Machining is here. I won't say Almost Machining is almost here because he's actually here. Welcome aboard. Welcome YouTube. Welcome Instagram. Everybody's looking good. So, this is the PFG Live for October 2nd. Grain size. Welcome aboard. Hey, Tuck. Hope you're feeling better, buddy. So, today is a beautiful Sunday here in the New Hampshire. Guaranteed no rain today. Hi, Brian. Welcome aboard. Bob Labs is here. Welcome. I've had a kind of fun week in the shop. I had a lot of client work to do this week, and I had to sneak in some shop time on Friday, which I did. Lots of progress. Tempo Precision, welcome aboard. I think, are you a new name? I don't know, but welcome. Mariana, welcome aboard. Yellow. Conjet is with us on the YouTube side. Outstanding. I will tell you that we're using, on the YouTube side, we're using OBS. And OBS just dropped a new version, and it looks awesome. And the thing I like about it is I pushed one button to go live on YouTube, and before, I believe I had to push 2 buttons. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a good improvement. So I'm looking forward to seeing how OBS version 28.0.3 works. So if any of you guys use that software, go update. We have a few fun things on the agenda today. If you guys have been following on Instagram, Conjet says, I'm lurking and prepared to throw memes at you. Thank you. That's why we have a support staff. So I worked on the laps this week, if you've been following, and they came out, so far, they came out really nice. And many lessons were learned all around. I will share them with you. One surprising one, which was great because it gave me an education that I was missing. But first, let me, and this isn't the first time I'm going to say this today. I'll probably wrap up with it. But I'm running a contest to give away a set of 6-inch PFG stones. When I make stones, as you probably know, I buy my raw material from Norton, a U.S. company. Norton is manufacturing the stones. These stones are actually manufactured in Mexico. And we buy them and we diamond grind them. And I end up with many, many boxes. Hey, Todd, welcome aboard. So I've kept the boxes. Not all of them, obviously, but the last few months, I don't know how long I've been filling that bag. Yeah, I'm not really sure. So I have a bag of 6-inch boxes and 8-inch boxes. Those are the only 2 sizes in the bag, and the contest is to guess how many boxes are in the bag. So if you want to join in and have some fun and get a chance to win a set of 6-inch PFG stones, engraved with whatever you want, and with a lid, a $325 value, you have to do two things. Hey, Toolmaker, welcome aboard. The first thing is go to YouTube, subscribe to Kinetic Precision NH. You guys on YouTube already know this. After you're subscribed, go watch the video on my channel called Perfectly Figured Guesses. And that will explain the contest, and it will show you the bag and give you critical dimensions on the bag and let you do some calculating and pontificating and, commiserating. And then in the comments on that video on YouTube, this is the only place you can do it. In the comments on that video on YouTube is put your guess for how many boxes you think are in the bag. And October 30th, we close the contest and we will count the boxes. And if you are closest, you win. The formal rules are all at pfg.gg/contest. That's pfg.gg/contest. So it's pretty easy, pretty fun, and maybe you'll win. So go check out the contest. This is a thinly disguised way to get more of you to subscribe on YouTube, because we're going to have a lot more fun stuff coming on YouTube, and you need to be subscribed. So that's the contest. The PFG Stones contest is running now. One other thing, if you go over to YouTube and you post your comment with your guess, do not panic if it doesn't show up in the comments publicly immediately, because every comment is moderated to keep the junk out. So just remember that. But all the rules are over at pfg.gg/contest. And, if you have any questions, just hit me up and I'll be happy to answer them for you. So that's the deal on the contest. Also, I'm working on my sticker board. I haven't gotten very far, but I'll show it to you real quick. Let me go grab it. It's coming together. So we got lots of stickers in the box. I've got to get them up on the board, but we'll be displaying this proudly somewhere over there. And if you have a sticker that you want to get up on the sticker board, just say the word, and you can drop me a line. We'll exchange stickers and get you up here. Hey, CNC guy. All right, so a little bit of progress on the sticker board. And I guess I'm ready to talk about the laps. And yes, Dryad Tees is here, a sticker board. Yeah, so if you have stickers, I don't know if you know this, but if you go to my store at pfg.gg, then find the button that says purchase, or you go to Kinetic Precision, you will be able to buy a set of stickers. And the way you do this is one of two ways. You send me stickers, or you buy a product off the store and you could order the stickers as part of your order. Or if you don't have stickers but you want my stickers, I think it's $10 post-paid. CNC guy, my Sunday is launching magnificently. So that's the story on stickers. Details on the website at kineticprecision.com, or you could snake your way there through pfg.gg. Yeah. So last week, I showed you my project for making some laps, some 6-inch laps out of cast iron, and it's going quite well. This project started a couple of months ago with the receiving of the laps, the lathing of the laps. I'm waiting for hate mail. And then last week, we ground the laps, top and bottom. And that was a and that was ground with the Norton 5 SG stone, which I've previously used on cast iron on the Windy Hill Foundry angles to excellent results. And I wanted to A, get them parallel and flat, and B, I wanted to get them just see how that stone performed for various settings, and it came out gorgeous, which you saw on the Instagram. And measuring the surface roughness of those results, I was coming in around 6 micro inches RA. It was just super nice. In fact, one of the guys was really confused. He said, "Hey, didn't you just lap these? They look lapped. Why didn't you put the grooves in before you lapped them?" I'm like, "Dude, I did not lap them. I just ground them." So the ground result looked really sweet. So let me grab one of the laps, and I'll show you what status we're in here. Here it is. Again, we've shown these pictures, but look at that surface. So that's a ground surface, and we've grooved it with a recipe that I'm going to talk to you about, and it came out really sweet. The edges are off the lathe, and we have these grooves here that identify the lap. So this is lap number 2 grooves. And of course I have 3 of them. So there's a 1 groove, a 2 groove, and a 3 groove. Hey, Mexico, welcome aboard. And of course the back is off the grinder, so that is just left alone. And these are looking pretty good. So that's 1.25 inch thickness. And this is ductile cast iron, and I bought these slugs from McMaster Carr at this size. I think they were 40, I want to say $40 each. So there's $120 of raw materials before going. Saludos, amigo. Bienvenido. So this is the result so far. They came out really nice. So I'll give you a little closer shot. I wonder if Mr. Focus is going to focus. Oh, he focused. Look at that. And how's it look on Instagram? So now I'll tell you the rest of the story, because I'm going to put this down if that's okay. That's kind of heavy. I show these on High Fly CNC. Welcome aboard. I show these on Instagram. Dryad T says, "I don't know what's going on, but I'm intrigued what this is for." Okay, that's fair. Some of you guys that are here are not machinists and tool makers, and I'll explain what it is. So a lapping plate is meant to put a very, very flat surface on something. So let's just make believe that this is some sort of a gauge or something, and I might have machined it on the lathe or the mill or whatever. Maybe I even ground it. But if I'm looking for a super good surface, for example, you old salty sea dogs can take a nap for a minute. Go get yourself a coffee or tea. Hey Bruno, welcome aboard. Perfectly flat waffle iron. You are correct, Bob. So this, for example, this is just an example. This is a gauge block, okay? Focus. All right. You see that end there? That's the business end of a gauge block. That's where you make your measurements. So a gauge block is something that's exactly a certain length. All right, so this is within millionths of an inch of 2 inches. That surface right there is lapped. That's a lapped surface. So the way you get that is by diamond lapping. So you need, in order to do diamond lapping, you need a couple of things. You need a you need a lap, and you need diamonds. So Golden State, welcome aboard. West Beach, welcome aboard. So let me grab a bottle of juice. Hang on. Anybody have a straw? So this is, for example, this is a slurry. It needs mixing. This is a slurry of diamonds, okay? And this is mostly ethylene glycol. It's like antifreeze. And this is, it doesn't say it here, but this is 8-micron diamonds. Okay, so this is full of diamonds that are 8/millionths of an inch on average in diameter. Okay, so what we do to do lapping is we take diamonds like this. Forbidden Gucci slushy. Yeah, that would be pretty funny, right? Sell slushies with a dollop of diamonds. Ooh, you don't want the ethylene glycol. So we would put some drops of this stuff on here, and then we would take our work and we would go on there and we would start lapping it. Now, it doesn't make sense to lap something that you can't measure unless you're doing it for looks. So of course we're doing it for precision reasons. Now we're not going to go we're not going to go into the details of the measurements today, but I just want to talk a little bit about lapping. So in order to do that lapping, your lap needs to be flat, right? Because your surface is going to take on the shape of your lap on average. So if I lap all over my lap surface, okay, I'm going to take on the curvature, the convex or the concave curvature of the lap on the part. Now that sounds like a bad thing. It's not. So I don't know if any of you guys are amateur telescope builders, but amateur telescope builders, when making reflector telescopes, they have to make mirrors. And they make mirrors the exact same way. They take two of these laps, not these, but the two glass blanks, and they lap one on the other with an abrasive. And the traditional way to do it that's it, Dryad. I don't know if I want to go too far down this path because somebody may think it's a really good idea. Okay, good. Hang in there. So the telescope builders would take two pieces of glass. They take one and they would attach it to the top of a barrel. And then they take the other one and they'd put it on top of it, and they'd put some slurry of whatever their favorite recipe is, and they would lap it and walk around the barrel. They'd go all the way around the barrel, lap, walk around the barrel. The reason they were walking around the barrel is they wanted to make sure that their physical influence on the mirror they're making was equal, right? It was very circular. And what they would end up with is the part they were moving would end up concave, meaning it's worn into the part, and the bottom one would end up convex, which means it's worn out of the part. Pretty cool, because you got to think this one through. When the top part was pushed off the edge of the other part, you ended up getting more pressure and less abrasion on here, and basically mathematically you can show that it eventually did this, right? And now here's the magic. For the telescope guys, this is what they wanted. They needed to make a mirror that had a certain curve. So they would lap for a while, and then they would go and measure. And they had ways to measure to see if they were there. And if they weren't there, they'd come back and they'd lap some more, or they'd, do whatever they had to do. So it is a known deal that when you work 2 laps against each other, one is going to end up convex and one is going to end up concave. Now, you machinist guys have heard of Whitworth Threads, right? That's a thread standard that came from England, and it's only used on really cantankerous motorcycles now, I think. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but Whitworth, I think, is the guy that came up with what we call 3-plate generation of a flat surface. What does that mean? If I want to make a flat surface, if my goal in life is to have a flat surface, especially if I need a reference surface. I don't know if you can see it behind me. Yeah, you can see it. Right there. Well, you can't see it on YouTube, but you can see it on Instagram. Underneath all this junk here is a granite surface plate. And in the shop, a granite surface plate is our reference for flat. And we typically have an expert come in with special... Mr. Blodgett asks, what is a Whitworth? I believe 2 bits. Fat Radgator is here. Welcome aboard, sir. So we'd have an expert come in and calibrate our plate with special magic equipment to get us a nice flat surface within a very tiny tolerance. And that's our shop reference for flat. But how do you get flat? Don't worry, Henry. Many people would agree with me. You didn't miss anything. So you might have missed me showing these, but you've seen these on Instagram. So, but where do you get the original flat from? So Whitworth said, well, if I take 2 plates and I lap them on each other, okay, so I lap A on B, and then I take B and I lap it on C, and then I take C and I lap it on A, and then I take A and I lap it on B, and you keep going around that circle. Eventually, all 3 plates become flat, and that's called auto-generation of a flat surface. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. And it's sort of a fundamental in precision in machining, doing that. A great place to read about this is also in the Foundations of Precision by the Moore Special Tool Company, and they talk about that. And they talk about these 3 plates. I think they were 36-inch by 36-inch plates that they made in their super ultra precision lab, and they were good to just stupid tolerances. And of course, our favorite guy in the whole wide world. I bet you didn't think you'd have to wait 24 minutes for me to mention him. Robin Renzetti decided that was pretty cool, and he went ahead and started reproducing that work. I think he was doing it on 18-inch square plates. So that's an introduction to the auto generation of a flat surface. So what I decided to do, further reference, see also Ox Tools, Mr. Tom Lipton, another adherent to the principles of precision, who also did exactly what I'm repeating. He made 3 6-inch flats using the auto generation method, and he published a video on it. It's on his YouTube channel at Ox Tools, and you can see that. So my work here with these laps is closest to reproducing what Tom Lipton did, but that's what we're doing here. We're auto generating the flats. So I show this on Instagram, and I show I ground the surfaces, and then I talked about how I was going to make the tool, and I made a D-bit cutter, and we're going to talk about this in some detail here, specifically for cutting these grooves. And somewhere in there, I get an Instagram message from Robin Renzetti, and I published the world's shortest message that he sent me, and he said, "Call me quick." So I said, "Yes, sir." So I called Robin, and we chatted for a while, and it was really cool. He gave me some excellent insight, and we had some yucks. But the thing that he wanted to, there were three things that he said, "Hey, here's a good idea for incorporating into your lap." Okay, and I'm going to tell you what two of them are. I'm going to leave the third one for a future date. But one of them was put some finger grippy grooves in the plate to make it a little easier to handle. And then I learned that the ones that he made were 1.5 inches. These are 1.25 inches. And I'll tell you, they're pretty heavy. No, that wasn't a scam. That was actually Robin. He didn't say, "Send me a screenshot of this link you get." He just said, "Call him." So I did. And oh, by the way, anyway. So that was the first idea, was put some finger grooves in. Now, let me just take a moment to plea to our audience. I went to Fusion 360, and I tried to generate a toolpath to make the nice finger groove that I was going to do on the lathe. I might still do it. And I had a grooving tool with a round profile, and that's one of my standard tools sitting on the rack. I could not get Fusion 360 to do a grooving toolpath using a round tool, but I could do it no problem using a square grooving tool. I wanted the round grooving tool. Fusion 360 said, I can't do this. I was kind of bummed. So if you could help me out with that, folks, I would very much appreciate it. Just DM me. Anyway, so the second idea that Robin said, the third idea I'm not going to bring up, the second idea was, instead of bringing the grooves right out off the edge of the plate, put a deeper groove here so that your slurry, remember our slurry? Okay, so that your slurry or your compound doesn't dribble off the side of the plate. It pools up on the plate, and that will help, in various ways. You ruined my groove. Well, dude, you'll get your groove back. I promise. So this is the design here. There's a peripheral groove, and then we have all of the linear grooves that end in the peripheral groove, and it came out super nice. Okay? And that came from Robin. So that's is that going to be the Robin groove, or is that the Groove Zeddy? I think it's the Groove Zeddy. You could vote in the comments below. Okay, so that was the idea I got from Robin. We talked about a bunch of other stuff too. And he encouraged me to proceed. He encouraged me to proceed with my my D-bit. Okay, so that's the state of the laps right now. But I really want to talk about the D-bit. Okay. Dryad T says, "Oh, Dryad Tess," and I know where you are, Dryad Tess. Can barely program for an animation. Ain't going to help with this. Let me tell you, we could learn from each other. I could learn about animation. Kiz says, "I'm an actress. I ain't no help." Actually, if you are a machinist, by definition you're an actor. So, Poetac, welcome aboard. That sounds like something I would take, before going to bed. Okay, so we're not having any fun here. This is no fun. Remember, All right, so there, of course, it's not focused on that camera. Come on, focus, focus, focus. All right, so this is called a D-bit. And you start with a piece of round, round carbide. You could do it with high-speed steel. You could do it with other stuff, depending on what you're cutting. This is a piece of carbide that started life as an end mill. And because I used the end mill, it also ended life as an end mill. So we ground a flat on it, okay? And then you're left with a section that looks like the letter D. That's why they're called a D bit. And then we put it up at an angle, and we spun it on the grinder to get that nice point. Here's where I made an error. Not necessarily an error, but something so simple has some interesting characteristics. So I'll show you the drawing in a second. The D-bit that I was making is also called a single flute engraving bit. Henry says, I have a lot of broken end mills. I know. We have lots of stock for these things. So if you just do that and you spin the tool on its center and you put the point on it, you end up with a completely usable tool. Reference. Go check out Chris at ClickSpring. That's his YouTube channel is ClickSpring. And he shows making a D-bit cutter that is exactly that. You cut your tool in half, you spin it at an angle, you're done. You go use it. And he said, if you listen carefully to... Now, he puts another little feature in there that's not that important for what we're talking about. But if you listen to his video very carefully, you'll hear him say, because I'm working in brass, I can get away without putting any relief in it. So what's relief? Relief is as one side of this thing is coming around to make a cut, okay, when the non-cutting side comes around, you want it not to touch the work. So if you go too fast in your feed, you can actually get the backside to hit. So you put relief in, so you're relieving the non-cutting side or the non-cutting sides. So I wanted to put relief in the tool. So what I did, so here's a drawing. By the way, you artists that have joined us, this is art, okay? I'm just pointing that out. So if I take the tool and I spin it to make its point on the end on its center line, it looks like that. But then if you get cocky and you say, I'm going to spin this tool off center, you now can get a tool that looks like this. You now have relief. You're going to cut on this side, and this side's going to miss. So what was my error? This is how I built my tool. My error was I put too much relief in. Okay? I didn't think it through. So I put 15 thousandths of relief in. But what happens is the point of the tool is now 15 thousandths off of the center. So what do you get when you spin that tool? You get that point spinning around, and it acts like a fly cutter. In fact, it acts as if the point of the tool is got a flat on it of double the relief, or 30 thousandths. And it came out too wide because I didn't grok that the relief was going to cause it to behave wider. So if you look at the lap, now the lap looks great, don't get me wrong. The lap looks awesome, but the bottom of that groove is actually wider than I wanted it to be. And when I pulled it out of the machine, I'm like, okay, why is that? Fad Radcater says, would a slight flat hurt? No, it won't hurt, but there's no way to get away from the effective flat from having made a relief on it by offsetting the tool when grinding. Okay, so we'll get to now. What you see on some tools is you'll see a tool like this with a flat on it. Totally reasonable. Okay, it's a different thing. So there's no exciting conclusion here. There's just the realization of, oh, if you grind relief into the tool by offsetting it when you spin it, you're going to get that effective flat zone on the end of the tool, and you have to think about it. So what I believe I'm going to do today, and really it shouldn't take terribly long, is I'm going to put the tool back in the grinder, and I'm going to regrind it with much less relief. I'm going to still use the relief, but instead of putting in like 15 thousandths relief, I'm going to put in maybe 5 thousandths relief and try it again. And that should be quite interesting. The reason I have to do it now is because the grinder is all set up. It has the right wheel in it. My spin jig is all set up over there. And maybe I'll start a live when I do that later. Okay? So I'm going to redo that, and then I'll run some test grooves in aluminum or whatever I have laying around, and I'll show you the results. But that's my plan. I'm going to do a quick regrind on that. And then I started thinking about other ways to grind that D-bit. Kevin asks, do you want a radius on the tip of that style cutter, stronger tip, etc.? Possibly, although I got to tell you, this thing did all the grooving on all 3 grooves, which is, I don't know, if I had to guess, I'd say, I'm not going to guess, a lot of linear inches of machining. And I'm running my fingernail on that tip, and I'm looking at it. There is zero evidence that it was ever used. It's pretty cool. So I'm not too worried about the strength of that tip. It's and this was probably, I think I lost any manufacturer's marking. I think this was a very high quality Endmill, which I snapped back in the past. Greetings to Mr. Heinrich. Vidcock, welcome aboard, and Harshad, welcome aboard. Carbide, yeah, this is good carbide too. I can't remember where I got it. So there's a lot to be learned in these D-bits. I am looking for. There's got to be a tome out there, which is everything you ever wanted to know about D-bits and/or single flute cutters. Okay, so Henry is saying he is looking for a way to cylindrical grind on his surface grinder, but has not found anything useful here in Germany. Stick around. I'll do a live after this live as I set up my my spin jig. That's how I do it. I have a motorized spin jig. It's all stuff from Suburban Tool. Don't buy any new stuff. Talk to me before you do that. But fundamentally, it's good stuff. But it's expensive. It's not cheap. The Deckel SO manual PDF is out there. Has good info, but it's too brief, says Kevin. I actually haven't pulled that manual down. That would be an excellent source. Somewhere we know that there's a book that's 3 inches thick. It's all about this. It might be in German. I don't know. I'm looking for that. Tuck Garage also wants to see the cutter relief setup. Okay, stick around. I'll even make it a publishable, published video. It's kind of fun, but it's a little bit of mental gymnastics figuring out how to do what you want to do. Oh, Conjet says, "Where's my favorite hat?" I think I know the one you're referring to. I was going to make a joke and put my hard hat on. It's in the other. I'm sorry, I forgot to wear my favorite hat. Page 12. All right, so that's the story on the D-bits. There's a host of possibilities with these little tools. They're super simple, and except for setting up and grinding it yourself, it's, you know, you could make it yourself. You could make what you need. Like this is a 60 degree. That's a 60 degree total included angle, because that's one of the things Robin and I talked about. And that came out great. If you wanted to, I have a 15 degree total included angle in the machine that's off the shelf from Harvey Tool. And there you go. Okay, Conjet, if you really need the hat, you have to text Jared and tell him to bring it into me, because I'm not going to abandon the microphone long enough to go get the hat. So, does anybody have any questions on either the D-bit grind or making the lap? I would be happy to answer them. I'm pretty excited about getting these going. The next step, of course, on the lap is I'm out of excuses. It's start lapping. And I talked to Robin, and I also talked to Adam over at Laney Machine Tech. And Adam was pretty hot on using silicon carbide. What cast iron did you use? I will publish the number. It's a McMaster car part. It's called ductile cast iron. That's all I've got. But I can give you the part number, or we could look it up. So I don't have a really great answer for you with specifications. Kevin's also asking the same question on YouTube. This is ductile cast iron, and McMaster will sell you an 1 1/4 by 6 inch diameter slab, oversized, nicely oversized, for doing this. And like I said, I think it was $40. I've already stoned it with PFG Stones, which I know you find very surprising, Wes. I'm sorry, that was almost that said that. And with the PFG Stones, well, I'll do it right now. Do it live. We'll do it live. Here's PFG Stones set number 2. Which Adam? Adam Laney Machine Tech or the other Adam? We're not comparing notes on this, so it could have been. All right, here goes use your ears. Any questions? And now we'll use our eyes. Perfect. Okay, so that sound and the feeling in your sensors tell you what's going on. Okay, so in the interest of honest reporting, and this is going to be impossible to see on the camera, so I won't even try. I can see the tiniest bit of patterning. I mean, we're down in the millionths here from the grinder, which is not a surprise. Please stand by. This just in. Thank you. That ought to quiet down the gremlins. So, very happy with the results. Unsurprised with the stoning. The most interesting thing about the stoning we just did and that I did earlier is that there was no burr. Boy howdy, this sucker was sharp, right? It came off a 100 grit diamond wheel is what I used to make that. It was sharp. I never stoned this after grinding. It went right in the mill and it cut that, and there was no burr. No burr. So we did it live. There you go. Excellent question. All the artists are happy that the hat is on. Happy to help. So there's some talk in the chat about different materials for laps. Yes, whole other topic. And I won't even get into it. Yes, you could use, not can you use soft materials frequently for laps, especially ones where you want the diamond to embed in the lap. And I've done it on the lathe, and I may be doing it again on the lathe. So that's the story there. So, laps, D-bits, so much to learn. Ways to put relief in. I have another way I'm going to try. I don't know if I'm going to try it on this one this time around, but the next time around, I have another way to put relief in. I think is going to be pretty cool. Now, if you have a D-bit grinder, now a D-bit grinder is a little grinder that will sit right on your bench, and its whole job in life is to make these. Okay. Everything I did, you could do, and actually easier, because setting up on the grinder to do all the D-bit stuff is actually a pain in the neck. It's not that bad, but yeah, I learned a lot. So that's where we're at. Fun week. Learned a lot. Learned a ton. Ready to put the diamonds down and get serious. Do the 3-plate auto generation of a flat surface and see how that comes out. Well, so another thing that Robin admonished me about was not to put my optical flat directly down on the lap when I go to evaluate it, because the laps will scratch the optical flat. Got it. Okay, Fat Radcater, you take care. Thanks for being here, man. And you can catch up on anything you might have missed. Hey, Kiz, over in the chat on YouTube, this is school, if you hadn't figured that out, all right? And by the way, you're getting graded on this. There will be a quiz. I don't care that you're in art school. Don't yell at your screen like that. I can hear you. All right. Once again, we have a contest underway. And if you would like the opportunity to win your own set of 6-inch, these are 4-inch, 6-inch PFG stones, engraved with lid, head on over to pfg.gg/contest. Take care, Bob, and enter the contest. You need to subscribe to Kinetic Precision NH on YouTube, guess the number of boxes in the bag. All right, all will be explained in the video on YouTube. And if you're the closest one by October 30th, you win. I'm guessing. I was guessing, Kiz. Listen, you got to... Yes, Conjet, there will be a quiz. I don't want to add any stress. Unconformable has been taking notes. Well, I appreciate that. If you have a wood stove, they will also be helpful. All right. If anybody has any questions of any type, any subject, any denomination, please put it in the one of the comment things, and we will address it. We're doing really good on time, and I'm out of things to report on. I think I brought you up. Drama school. Okay. Everything about this is dramatic. Just remember, every time you break an end mill, a D-bit is born. Is that not the cycle of life? And if that's not the cycle of life, what is drama anyway? Conjet says, I'm quizzing you on art history when I get home as revenge. Listen, you quizzed me enough yesterday on that whole thing, and I had nothing to do with it. Why didn't Robin say to lower the outer lip a few thou below the lap surface? Oh, he actually did. He actually did say that. Except that the outer ring groove is going to be part of the equation, so I decided not to. Yeah, Robin actually did mention that. I didn't consider it sufficiently important to do it. Besides, I got this all done with one tool, and I considered that a win. Oh yeah, Robin doesn't miss a beat. I don't think there's any harm, no foul here, having everything coplanar. Silos is here. Welcome aboard, sir. You're late. Silos, you're usually here earlier. Henry says, I have a lot of 10 millimeter D-bits in that case. So is it 10 millimeter Endmills like have infused the universe, just like 10 millimeter sockets are continually disappearing? Are these things connected? Is this part of quantum physics? Protium is here. Welcome aboard. I don't know if I should scold you for being late, Protium, or congratulate you for being for hiding while most of the ruckus went on. But welcome aboard. Awesome. Oh yeah. Okay, Kevin, you're pushing my buttons. Kevin says 1/137. If you don't get that, you have research to do. I'm not spoiling it. 1/137. I knew I liked you for a reason, Kevin. There's a book in the TARDIS library that explains all of this. Henry says he uses 10 millimeter Endmills for almost everything. That's awesome. And now you can really use them for almost everything. And by the way, this is a 1/4 inch, which is what, 6 millimeters? So we don't quite make your standard of 10 millimeters. 22/7, I'm with you, sir. I'm with you there, which is it's all you need. I used to tell my kids 3.14159, remember that and you'll be fine. You found me via Within Tolerance. That's outstanding. Hey, Within Tolerance, I don't have a sticker. I'm working on my sticker board, and I don't think I have a Within Tolerance sticker, and I think I've earned it. I want a Within Tolerance sticker if you have one. All right, guys, we're going to end on time today. I cannot believe it. And if you want to see the setup on the grinder, I think I'm going to jump over and do a quick regrind of this guy, because then I have to break down and make stones, because there are a couple of guys that are yelling at me, fists waving in the air. I guess you do, don't you? Okay, almost. Hey, no, thank you for the wisdom, too. I appreciate your input. Okay, Triad D's. You guys are welcome for our Art in Machining podcast every Sunday at this time. You did bring friends, but did you bring cookies? Okay, so is it pronounced Martin? Welcome aboard. Yes, Henry, you do. And you let me know when you're ready, and we'll talk about what size you want to get. But probably for you, these are the 4s. I don't know, 4s or 6s. You're going to have to figure that out. Or you could get both. I'm supposed to say that because I'm in business. I could have had a cookie. I'll tell you what, the art students are way more talkative than the machinists. I can't imagine why. All right, we got 5 more minutes. Let's use it wisely. If anybody has any questions, comments, pithy sayings, let's get it out, and then we're going to shut this sucker down at the top of the hour. And then I might set up for Instagram only. I'll do an Instagram only live as I set up the D-bit grinding. You like 6? Okay. 6 we got. Now the other question, Henry, is do you need a bevel? Because I know you do machinery building. Think about that. Read about it on the website. I'm certainly not pushing it. It makes it a rather specialized stone, but it is a possibility. Cartwright Christian, welcome aboard. If you're not seeing the chat on YouTube, you're missing something, folks. So that's the plan. I'll set up on Instagram for a live, and I'll show you the D-bit setup on the grinder. I will tell you one epiphany I had on the D-bit grinder setup, and I'll show you this when I get going. But when you go to grind the flat on my machine, if I use my spin jig, I get interference. I have to open up the access door. I have to be super careful. It's really crowded. I think I would do the flat with one of my machinist toolmaker's vices, a little toolmaker's vice, do the flat, and then transfer it into the spin jig. That's a tip that I think is worth a lot of hot dogs. Because doing this while it's in the spin jig, you're saying to yourself, well, I'm going to save all sorts of time. You're not saving any time. It is a pain in the neck if you have the situation I had. All right. Any other questions? I'm pretty proud of the fact that I never stoned this thing. And it just cut like a peach. One other thing about the D-bit. I know somebody's going to ask me this. I spun it at 10,000 RPM and I left it there. So we used all the throttle. Okay. No questions. People are dribbling away, running from the madness. Just gonna. Okay, Eric Fails 7, welcome aboard. You might get the prize today for the latest check-in before we shut down. That was a joke. I didn't actually drink any of this. Do not do that. This is bad stuff. It says right here, if swallowed, immediately call a poison center or a doctor. Rinse mouth. Dispose of contents and container according to local regulations. I think that doesn't have anything to do with the emergency. Yeah. But the trouble is that the carrier, like the diamonds would probably just go through you, but the carrier is the same as antifreeze. It's poison. It's not better than tea. We're just making jokes. This is jokes. This is fiction. You guys are used to fiction. Okay. Thanks for being here. Great spending a little time with everybody. We will see you guys next week. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me. If you want to buy a set of PFG stones, head on over to pfg.gg and learn about PFG stones. If you want to enter our contest and win yourself a chance at a set of 6-inch PFG stones, head on over to pfg.gg/contest and subscribe on YouTube, and you can enter the contest. And that drawing will be on It's not a drawing technically, but the contest winner will be determined on October 30th. There are rules. The official rules are at... Oh! So Dryad Tess is pointing out that the PFG Stone ASMR was a feature of today's... Well, I think we're going to end with that. A little more ASMR. Okay. So, no, Rubens, you have won the award for being the last guy in before we should... No, Justin Palin just showed up. You might have won the award for the last guy in. So we're going to end with a little ASMR from the PFG Stones on the laps, and then we're going to shut this down. With that, I'll bid you a good Sunday. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next week. Ciao.